What's up, everybody? It's your boy Joshua Edwards, live from Brooklyn, New York. This is Panthers Pride Television. Yes, for those of you that are wondering, these are prescribed glasses. Yes, I'm going for like a little scouting look that you want to say. I had a whistle somewhere. I don't know where it's at. Now that I think about it, I think it's actually in my car. But these are prescribed glasses, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. Now, as you can see on your screen, man, there is a lot of things that I'm going to be talking about today. The Shrine Bowl and the Senior Bowl. These are two big bowls, and there's also an HBCU bowl that I'm going to get to probably in the episode here very soon. But if you guys remember, at the end of the season, the Carolina Panthers fired our outside linebackers coach and our defensive back coach. And I am eager and happy to say that we have replaced one of those two components. So, yesterday, Carolina Panthers actually re-upped on their coaching on the defensive side and actually added two coaches. So, the first guy, Ronaldo Hill, was formerly with the Los Angeles Chargers in 2023 before that whole regime was let go when they hired, the Hallborough brothers. He was the defensive coordinator in that time frame. He has 8 years of coaching experience in the National Football League. He played cornerback for the Denver Broncos, and now we just got him as a defensive coach. He'll be, chipping in probably more than likely with the defensive backs, more than likely with the safety help, linebackers, and he's just going to kind of shadow just the entire defense and just give, his inputs here and there. And then A.C. Carter. A.C. Carter was a former defensive line coach for the Los Angeles Rams. 2 years of experience, and now we are going to hire him as our outside linebackers coach. Now, the thing with A.C. Carter that I like, man, you have been around championship football. You have been around playoff football, even Ronaldo Hill to a certain extent. Playoff football with the Los Angeles Chargers and Justin Herbert. So these two coaches understand what it takes in order to, get their defense up to par, to get their defense to play playoff type of football. And A.C. Carter, with the guys that he has had, the Javon Curse, and I'm excited to just move forward with him and just to see what he's going to transition our defense into. The same thing with Hill. What is our defense going to look like? It can't be worse than last year. 534 total points, the worst percentage in NFL or the worst points in NFL history given up on the defensive side, all-time bad. So these two positions, I expect change. I expect Jadeveon Clowney, if we bring him back, I expect him to have more than 6 sacks. My guy, he was the number one overall pick. Ronaldo Hill, you got to get the secondary right. We know that we're going to let at least maybe two of our safeties. We might let go of Sam Franklin, Xavier Woods, Jordan Fuller. We know we're going to let some of those guys go. We know that we might let go Mike Jackson, the DB that was playing opposite of J.C. Horn. So these two coaches, they will be strengthening our weakness moving forward. So, man, that's going to be, quite the sight to see on the defensive side. Now, this is where we get to talking football. Let's get it, man. The Shrine Bowl officially kicks off January 30th, 8 p.m. on NFL Network. They have been practicing all week long. The same thing with the Senior Bowl. Both are being those two bowl games, along with the HBCU Legacy Bowl games, are going to be broadcasted on NFL Network. There have been multiple clips from the Senior Bowl and the Shrine Bowl where dudes are getting run over. We've seen it back and forth, and this is where I believe guys make their most money. You can go out here and time well, but until you're actually in competition with guys that is around your peers, guys who might be just a little bit better athlete, but if you're going out here and you're producing on the Shrine Bowl, if you're producing on the Senior Bowl, I really am not too worried or concerned about how you test in the NFL Combine. If I know that you're a stud and you're balling in practice during these games and also in the game, I don't look. The combine is just a cherry on the top for me, and I'm not too into guys in shorts and t-shirts. No, man, you can look like Tarzan and play like Jane. I want you to look like Tarzan and play like Tarzan. I want you to look the part and play the part. So the Shrine Bowl, man, here are some guys that have been really on the upticks. If you just check any media platforms, these are just certain guys that we have been in communication with and guys that are creeping up on a lot of draft boards. So the first one is a ball hawk sleeper from Delaware, Tyron Herring. He's a defensive back, had 43 total tackles, 1 interception, 3 pass breakups, and played 11 games. Now I know what a lot of you guys are going to say. He played for Delaware, Joshua. Where is the transition? He's not playing Power 5 school football. But he is going up against Power 5 competition. In the Shrine Bowl, it has been reported that he has had arguably the best one-on-one matchups in one-on-one sessions. Tyron Herring has been locking up on the defensive side. We talked to him. There's been other coaches and other organizations that have talked to him. I believe the Seahawks, the Raiders. He's about 6 foot, 200 pounds. Look, we found Jalen Coker in the Shrine Bowl. We found him, and he was undrafted. If this is a guy that we're going to look forward to, he might be able to play in the slot. If this is a guy that we can draft later on in the rounds, 5th, 6th, if he's still there, hell, even the 4th round, why not take the risk? If he's showing you that he's balling against this type of competition and is transitioning, man, look, my mama had a saying. She said this. She said, son, if you can play, they'll find you anywhere. You've heard other people like the Shannon Sharps, the Darius Leonard. If you can play anywhere, they're going to find you. And Tyron Herring is actually a very product of, look, you can play. If you can play, they're going to find you. So I look forward to how he plays on Thursday. I look forward to how he plays when the lights are the brightest at 8 p.m. What are you going to look like when everybody is watching and tuning in and turning on NFL Network to see some possible prospects that their team might draft? I'm looking forward to it. And that's just one of my Shrine Bowl standouts. Now, these other two guys, the Kobe Bryants of the world and Elijah Roberts. So if you don't know who Kobe Bryant is, now I'm not talking about 24 RP Kobe, but Kobe Bryant is a defensive back for the Kansas Jayhawks. Now, a lot of times I like to revert to the video games, the NCAA 25. Kobe Bryant had a star up under his name. Kobe Bryant this past season, and not just this past season in general, he has been outstanding in coverage. Had 4 interceptions this season, had 4 tackles for loss, a half and a sack, a sack and a half, a half a sack this past season, played 12 games. But the biggest thing about him is he is a ball hawk. I mean, last year he had 4 interceptions. This year he had 4 interceptions. And his other 2 seasons, he had 3 interceptions and 2 interceptions. And this is a guy that is reportedly locking up. Yes, he's talking a lot of trash. But if you go and look at just reports, he's been the most impressive standout in the Shrine Bowl. He played for Kansas. He's long. He's lengthy. Now, I'm not liking the comparisons. The comparisons are to Emmanuel Forbes, the former first rounder for where he played for the Washington Commanders. I don't like that comparison. But he is lengthy. He is able to make plays. He's a ball hawking corner. And he comes up and he makes tackles. There's not a lot of things that you can ask for in today's day and age. One, you want a corner that can cover, because that's the most important thing. And then secondly, you want a corner that can come up and make tackles in the run game. You don't want a corner that's out here ducking smoke. Nah, bro, we're not ducking smoke with the Carolina Panthers. And Kobe Bryant, he also has drawn a lot of attention with a lot of flags. He's very handsy. So he's lengthy, he's handsy, but he has great upside as far as the ball tracking skills, the ability to predict where receivers are going to go in and out of their cuts, understanding route concepts. So Kobe Bryant right now is obviously probably another huge Shrine Bowl standout that is increasing his draft stock. He was going in as a top 75 ESPN projected player, but these practices matter. That's why I'm saying I don't give a damn how you test on the combine. If you're actually showing me that you can produce in these bowl games, in these practices, and it transitions to the game, that is a direct correlation of what you are and what you represent as a player. Now, Elijah Roberts, this is going to be a guy who is more of maybe a project, if you ask me. Now, Elijah Roberts played 13 games this past season. 0 interceptions. Obviously, he's a defensive lineman. He's 6'5", 6'3", 281, had 11 tackles for losses this past season, 7.5 sacks. Now, the thing about Elijah Roberts, he is a transfer from the University of Miami. Wasn't really seeing a lot of playing time, goes down to Texas, goes to SMU, and in his last 2 seasons, he's played exceptionally well. The thing with Elijah Roberts that people are saying is he has to develop a little more in as far as his technique. Elijah Roberts, he can be a physical specimen. He's a little bit on the smaller side as far as an edge rusher. He's 6'3". That's not too small, but I would say that's kind of the prototypical height for an edge rusher, but he's not really fast off of the edge. I think what he does in this bowl game, and if he tests well, this is where I believe the testing for Elijah Roberts can upshoot his draft stock as well. So these 3 guys, the Kobe Bryant, Elijah Roberts, and also the Tyron Heron, this week is going to be Thursday in particular. Thursday at 8 p.m. is going to be huge for these 3 guys, man. So that's what I'm looking forward to when we're talking Shrine Bowl. Now, the Senior Bowl. The Senior Bowl practice, like the Shrine Bowl, has been on NFL Network this entire week. The Senior Bowl game is played on Saturday. Got to get my numbers right. Saturday at 2:30 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Saturday at 2:30 p.m., 1:30 p.m. on NFL Network as well. Now, this is another situation where guys are making a name for themselves. A lot of guys that I didn't know anything about. Now, the good thing about the Senior Bowl is you don't have to be your senior to participate. So there is a couple guys from Texas A&M that are in the Senior Bowl that are juniors, but they somehow met the qualification to play in the Senior Bowl. I don't know what the hell is going on as far as the qualification process, but I digress. These are arguably the best gems that you will probably see. Now, the guy on your left, Donovan Ezeruke, I'm pretty sure I butchered his last name, but we're going to rock with it. He played for Boston College, 12 games this past season, 80 total tackles, 16.5 sacks, 21 tackles for loss. That led the entire nation. Let me go back to it. Let me go back to it. Donovan Ezeruke, 12 games, 80 total tackles, 16.5 sacks, 21 tackles for losses. Now, I just told my homeboys about him. If you don't know who this guy is, he is the biggest kept secret on the market. And he plays in the ACC, so you can't give me a situation where he plays like a Delaware, like Tyron Heron, or he plays for one of these other lesser FBS, the Bowling Greens of the world. He plays in a Power 5 conference, and he was out here balling against Florida State, Missouri. These are great competitions. 16.5 sacks as an edge rusher, 21 tackles for losses. If you don't know who he is, now you know. This is a guy who has been balling all week long. Now, he's been projected a top 25 pick. He has a chance to really rise in his draft stock. If he times well in the combine, if he goes out here and balls during the Senior Bowl like he's been practicing, man, you're going to see his draft stock raise a tenfold. I mean, we already know the guys that are up there, the Mason Grahams of the world, the Abdul Carter. These are guys that don't have to play in the bowl games. But for Donna Ezeruke, man, you have a legit shot of becoming a top 10 selection depending on how you play and depending on how you test. So that's kind of where I think the combine plays, a hand-in-hand coordination. Guys just might test great and play and might be a hidden gem and play well, test great, and then their stock rises. Or guys not really too sure on their film, but then they test great and then they just soar up draft boards as well. So I believe the draft process is one, tape first, and then how you test secondly. But what does the tape say more importantly than what does your draft stock say? Now, Smiley Mundan Jr. Yes, his name is Smile Mundan Jr. I know it looks weird, but it's Smile Mundan Jr. He played for the University of Georgia, 10 games, 57 total tackles, 3 sacks, 4 tackles for losses. Now, the thing about him, Smile Mundan Jr., he is an inside backer. What's the biggest concern with the Carolina Panthers? We cannot stop the run. This is a guy that instantly transforms our defense. There's been a lot of reports he has been locking up in pass coverage. Running backs are having a hard time blocking him. He's easily a great sideline-to-sideline linebacker. So Smile Mundan Jr., I think this is a guy that we have to look at in possibly the early second round if we can trade up and get him. I don't believe he's going to be a first-round talent unless he goes out here and he tests well. The thing about him, it does look like his first 2 seasons he was playing a lot more than his last 2 seasons for whatever the reason is. Maybe there were some guys that were out there who were just better in the University of Georgia. Maybe there were some younger 5-star prospects. But the thing about him, man, he's still exceptional in the passing game, passing coverage. He's able to play sideline to sideline. That's what you need more importantly than anything right now in the NFL. And we still are craving for a linebacker that's going to be like Luke Kuechly. Smile might not be that guy, but we need it. We need a young talent. We need a young talent. I understand that we drafted a linebacker from Kentucky last year. Can't think of his name right now. But this is the guy that we got to take a serious deep dive into. Let's continue to watch how he practices. Let's see how he produces in the draft combine or his pro day, whatever one he chooses to do. And let's just evaluate from there. These 2 guys are my biggest hidden gems. Donovan Ezeruke. If you don't know who he is, now you know. There's a reason why he had 16.5 sacks in the Power 5 conference. Yes, it was a far cry from last year where he only had 3 sacks. But damn it, something clicked last year. Something clicked last year to where you have 16.5 sacks. And, I mean, he's beating guys with swim moves. He is lengthy. He looks physically like a Myles Garrett. No exaggeration. He is physically built like Myles Garrett. I mean, this is going to be some of the best football that we're going to be watching this week. We know the pro games are going on, but, man, I look forward to talking about these guys moving forward. So, once again, Joshua, we are out on Panthers Pride Television.